do. Hey everyone, welcome to Beer Club. Thanks for all coming out and see a couple new faces, and I know we have some more people coming, but we're just going to get started and don't miss the beginning. This month we have an awesome brewery from upstate New York, upstate to us, Middletown, a little south of Monticello. I know where Monticello is. I used to go up there as a kid, so I kind of use that as a frame of reference. It's about 2 hours away. People live here probably a little less than that. So very manageable to go visit. Laura and I have been there twice and we love it. It's such a cool little place. They have an amazing tap set up that goes around, and they have so much beer to try. I mean, sometimes you go to a brewery and the beer might be great, but they only have a few selections. Not this place. They have a ton of stuff to try. And even more bottles and cans on your way out. So it's really a cool place, and the beer is just really good. At first, we were able to get a little bit down here. We got the MC Squared, maybe Photon, couple SKUs, but not too much. But in the last few months, it's really picked up, and we are lucky to have a bunch of good beers for you to try, and some that we don't have tonight that are still available. So really looking forward to it. We have James came down all the way from Middletown, New York. Little old Staten Island.
Don't get too excited.
And we're really pumped to have him here and appreciate that he came down and everything. So just try to keep it down, keep the noise level down to a medium level. We're not a library, but we want to hear people speak as well. And I hope you enjoy the beer. Without further ado, here is James.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming out. Really appreciate all the support and your interest in the brand. I'll just tell you a little bit about Equilibrium, and then we will get to drinking, which is...
Yeah!
Thank you. Yeah. So as we said, we're from Middletown, New York. Not too far away, definitely worth checking out. We have 2 production facilities up there, one on Henry Street, which is what our lager is named after, and the other one on South Street, which is what our other lager is named after. Or Pilsner's, rather. Yeah, you got it. We are, a little bit of background about the company. We were founded by a man named Pete Oates. He is he's a PhD in water science from MIT. When he started studying, it was really about taking bad things out of water and bringing clean water to the world. That was really his goal. And in that process, he decided to see what happened when he put good stuff in. And then we got beer. So we say our beers are balanced by science, but they're also inspired by science. So there's a lot of work that goes into these beers. And there's constant experimentation, and we're always striving to make a better product. You will notice that one of the things we try to do is be incredibly consistent with our beers. You'll notice a lot of times, especially if you're a regular Untapped user and you read our descriptions, you'll see something called EQ Juice on there. And the best way to describe that, I'm actually going to read some notes to this because this is Pete's description, not mine. And I'll just be very honest, he's a lot smarter than I am. So what we're doing with EQ Juice is, or rainbow melon is a term that we use, is really this idea of having this escalating brightness of flavor, particularly melon flavors in our beers. You'll notice there's like an underlying current in a lot of the flavors. So I don't want to tell you too much in terms of flavor notes because I don't want to influence what you're going to taste. I want you to really experience these beers using your own palate, not mine, or the notes of the beer for that matter. So we'll just leave it at that, but it is something that we've done a lot with, and it's just something to be aware of. It's something we feel differentiates our beers from everything else. And I think that's probably all you really need. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, so first beer.
Woo!
I'll keep talking then.
Go ahead.
So what was the first beer that really hit for you guys?
The first beer that really hit for us was probably Photon and MC Squared. MC Squared is consistently one of our more popular beers. I think a lot of it is because of, one thing, it's an excellent beer, something we put a lot of research in.
What kind of beer?
That is a double IPA. You got it, 8% double IPA. You'll notice it in stores because the label has Einstein on the cup. Yeah, it's really distinctive. You can't miss it.
I'm wearing my Equilibrium shirt. You can see everything is like Einstein. relativity theme,
Yeah.
which I don't know anything about that stuff, but I liked it. I like Einstein with his tongue sticking out.
Go ahead.
And in particular, what style of beers do you guys particularly do, and is it a range?
Yeah, so we do a range. We're particularly known for our hazy IPAs, double IPAs in particular. But really what we're trying to do is we have a pretty diverse range. You're going to experience that today. We'll be going from Henry Street Pilsner, a couple double IPAs, because we have to. One that has a touch of lactose in it, one without any. We'll be doing a sour IPA today, called Middletown Punch. We get 5 fruits in that one. It's a delicious, delicious beer, incredibly easy drinking, comes in at 7%. And then we're going to wrap up things with Mobius, which is our 7% unadjuncted porter, which is something we're super excited about. It's a little bit outside of what we've done in the past. Traditionally, we only offered that in the bottle format, and we are doing it on kegs and cans now, so it's a lot more available. But it's a delicious beer and a great way to wrap up the
So
night.
which one is this right now?
You got it, man.
So which one are we tasting now?
We're gonna start now. So the first one we're gonna try, we're gonna go from light to dark. We're gonna work with our Henry Street Pilsner, 4.5% Pilsner. This is a Pilsner that's been lagered for 2 months. You're gonna get golden in color. We have, oh thank you.
Still dry.
As you can see. Go. Really pleasant earthiness. You will get some biscuity flavors in it. Really clean finish.
What is this one again?
This is Henry Street Pilsner, 4.5% Pilsner.
Does it have hops?
It does. It does. I'll be perfectly honest with you. What I do for the brewery is I'm the distribution sales lead for Equilibrium. I'm not a brewer.
Okay.
I will do my best to answer any technical questions.
It's very good.
Thank you. Yeah, I will pass that along to the people that brew the beer. Yeah. But so I do know about the stuff. I do know about the process. If we get super deep in the weeds, I can get to the answers.
This is a good one.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's a good one. It's super crushable, really easy to drink. Our pilsners have become the beers that we all drink after work. So it's a good one for that.
It's not super sweet.
Yes, it shouldn't be sweet at all. It should be a nice, crisp, dry finish. Is what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's a very nice Pilsner. Very drinkable.
Thank you. Yeah. This is non-food age. Yeah, so we have 2 pilsners that we do. Well, we have several that we do, but 2 that we'll highlight today, Henry Street and South Street. Henry Street is the one you're currently drinking, which is a non-food age. South Street is the food age one. Yeah, I do too. They had 4.5% and 5.5% respectively. So I'll let you guys just drink that, get a feel for it, get a taste for it, and see, does anybody have any questions on this one?
So is this a year round?
It's rotational, but it's a regular rotator. It's a regular rotator. What we tend to do is kind of go back and forth between Henry Street and South Street. Those are the 2 that we do most frequently. Then we have a couple other ones we do as well.
So you do the unaged one, then you do the aged one.
Essentially, essentially, yes.
So was there like a big inspiration for this, or was it just like, we're gonna start like, you said this is like one of the first, right?
I think this is the 3rd Pilsner that we've done.
Oh, okay. No,
This is the first one we're drinking tonight, which I can see why.
Okay, because I
maybe
got a
my
little
language
confused because I
wasn't
thought
that
this
clear.
was one of the first beers you guys did.
It was not. No. Our Pilsner program is not.
It's relatively new.
I mean, relatively compared to the other beers, I guess. is the best way to
Okay.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was. What was the inspiration for this one?
People like to drink Pilsners. I mean, that's really
Simple enough.
That's really what it was. It's something that we weren't really doing a lot of, and
Well, I do see, I've heard about it for a while, but with all the hazy IPAs and all the flavorful things, I kept hearing that's going to be a pullback, it's going to be Pilsners. And right now, I have, I think, 3 Pilsners on.
yeah, there's definitely.
That's, there's a call for it, so.
Yeah, there's been a push for it, and really, Pilsners are what brewers tend to drink.
Yeah.
And when we have the opportunity to produce things like that, things that we're really passionate about, and Pilsners take a lot longer to make than a lot of other beers. So there's that too. So when you finally have the space and the ability to make them, we tend to make them.
I would say, like, to show like the true grit of like of a brewery is mastering a pilsner, because it's very. I thought it was like most beers are simple. This pilsners are not. They're very complicated.
I don't disagree.
For such like a, you know, it just sounds so simple and stuff like that when it's really not. It's very complicated.
It is, yeah. But yeah, it's a good point. So we'll keep on going here. Okay, cool. So, yeah. So as we wrap up this one, we'll start talking about our next beer here. So we'll move from, you know, this very light, crisp finished beer, this Henry Street Pilsner, to something that's a little heavier, a little bigger, definitely a lot more hazy, are Above the Cloud. So Above the Cloud, you'll notice it's an incredibly creamy beer. It's a whirlpool of, it's an heavy oak base with a whirlpool of Idaho 7 and Citra hops. We dry hop that with Nelson and Citra again. You'll get a lot of kind of the citrus flavors that are common with all those varieties. A little bit of white grape in there, but the really thing, this is a showcase for Nelson hops. There is a tiny bit of lactose in this beer, just to smooth it out and make it a bit more velvety on the tongue.
Is that why it's cloudy?
Not necessarily, but lactose can add a little bit of haze. Because we are going to drink another one called Laboratory Dynamic, which is still a hazy IPA that does not have lactose in it.
Now the lactose, I'm under the impression it's not like you're pouring milk in it, right? You're just
It's not milk.
It's just the protein, or the.
It's sugar.
Why did I say protein? Yeah, the sugar.
Yeah, it's non-fermentable sugar.
What does it look like? The lactose sugar.
It's a powder.
Does it smell interesting, or is it trying to just
I've
like?
never smelled it before. I've seen it.
Yeah, it looks like flour.
It looks like flour, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it? I would have just wonder if it had like interesting properties.
Yeah, I'm not sure about like the chemical, the specific, chemical reactions that are caused by it, but it is a powder. It comes in a box.
I wouldn't lick it. I wouldn't suggest licking it. It'd probably be a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, probably just tastes like sugar.
This one's really nice. It has a nice finish.
Thank you.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
They're in Boston.
What do we think? Any feedback from you guys? How about my buddy in the back?
This is like, I don't know, this is
Good.
taste right now.
I'm waiting for it, man. I'm waiting for it.
I like the flavor.
Okay.
I get a little bit more to like the flavor of this. I'm a little bit more tame.
Okay. Fair enough.
But with the flavor is good. It does have like some.
It has a heavy oak component of malt base. Yeah, so that's it tends to help be a little creamier right now.
It's almost sweet.
There's definitely a sweetness there. Yeah, that's a little bit.
What was this one called?
Above the Clouds.
Ah,
Above the Clouds.
good. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
good.
good.
Yeah. And more?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you mention the hops? I'm sorry if I
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah. Do you want to know them again?
Yeah, could you? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. That's all right. It is start with Citra and Idaho 7. Is what's in the whirlpool, and it's dry hop with Citra again and Nelson. The showcase hop for this is Nelson. That's really what. Yeah.
Do you guys have any trouble sourcing hops at all?
You'd have to ask.
Okay.
The production team. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So you pretty strong hop contracts. You've been in it for a while. So, but it's the biggest expense of beer. Although malt's went up a ton this year. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, oh, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
you have birth?
Yeah.
No girlfriend's last.
I was gonna say,
No, this rotation. Rotational as well. Yeah. So what you have right now is, with the exception of bogies, everything is rotational.
Rumblings or the bird? Bird?
okay, cool.
There's a deli right there.
It activated trouble.
I don't know, girl. I'm hungry.
No, it's closed right there.
Just walk past it. Like,
Cool. So if we're moving on, we'll move on to laboratory dynamics, which is the next hazy double dry hops double IPA that we're doing. 8.5% is the ABV on this one. So moving up a little bit,
Be
but not
careful.
by too much. Yeah, you gotta watch out, man. Drinking a couple of these, you be feeling all right. Pardon me while I read some notes for this one. So what we're looking at here is mango is probably the biggest citrusy or fruit flavor you're going to get out of this. You'll find it a lot on the nose of this beer as well. You will get a little bit of lime. You'll have some chewiness from some grassy herbal flavors as well.
Really
Again, we're looking at a pretty creamy mouthfeel on this one. Incredibly drinkable. You'll notice that EQ juice, especially in this one, this is something that was a big part of the brewing of this beer, and it's part of the name as well.
It's got a nice bouquet.
Nice.
It's very smooth.
Thank you.
Next to the can?
Yeah, of course.
I would say it's very well rounded. That it's like nothing's overpowering. It's very smooth, very well balanced.
I mean, that's one of the goals is to always have these very balanced beers.
Haha, equilibrium.
That's it. Oh, thanks, man.
I agree with him.
You agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one, I like this one.
But more than the previous one.
Yeah. This
Yeah, I'm taking notes, man.
Yeah, this one is good. It has a good medium blend of balance, and it's not too heavy on the heart.
I like some too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anybody
This
want
one
to
is
see
less
the
acidic.
The other one was like two biscuits.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, is there lactose on this one or
No lactose in there.
Yeah, that's why I want from
Yeah.
biscuits thick.
Yeah.
I like the can.
No lactose in there.
It's a very pretty can.
Yeah.
You keep it.
Big tropical flavors on this one.
Yeah, totally. Piece of
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And that's really that EQ juice. That's that rainbow melon flavor that we're looking for. Is that kind of like Starburst?
It's like that orange
That's like-
Starburst, the tropical pack.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, like, are you like, well, are you aware of like the inspiration for this beer, or was it kind of just like, let's just experiment?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult.
Oh, man, that alligator.
Unless you're talking directly to the person that brewed the beer, it's very hard to interpret what their inspiration was.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of the inspiration comes from experimentation and deciding, what particular flavor profile we're looking for. So, I would say with this one, Laboratory Dynamics, straight out of the laboratory, Tangerine Peel Laboratory, they're all part of a similar series that we do.
Oh, okay.
So they do have some common elements.
Okay.
But in terms of inspiration, I honestly don't know. The inspiration typically is just to make a really good beer.
That's the inspiration.
Yeah.
So-
that's typically the inspiration.
what came first? Laboratory dynamics or they're both close?
In terms of the history of the beer?
No, like which one was brewed first?
Oh, in this run? Laboratory Dynamics, I believe. I'd have to look back at the calendar. We brew a lot of beers. I have to look back.
So, with the name Laboratory Dynamics, it sounds very much like you have like it's like the experimental end of the brewery.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I can't even read anymore.
They used to have it. I have Yeah,
Yeah. So we have a couple series that we do. if you check out our website, there's something called EQ EDU on there, and that'll give you incredibly in-depth, including the formula, the mathematical equation for the EQ juice. You're more than welcome to try to recreate it. We do a couple different series. We have our core lineup, which is photon, wavelength, energy squared, fluctuation, and Mobius. We have our experimental series, of which laboratory dynamics is one. Fractal is another really popular one that you'll see a lot. And then we have our inspiration series, which is another series that we do. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But there are ones, that's the way we break up our beers.
So with the laboratory dynamics series, do you have like, because there's some breweries, like if you go to Two Roads, Wild East is also one of them, where they kind of have like very elaborate equipment to like brew to achieve a specific type of thing. Do you guys do that, or is it kind of more normal?
I mean, I wouldn't know in terms of I'm not sure what equipment they have.
Oh, okay.
Again, not a brewer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a good question. It's a good
I
question.
thought it'd be like, because some breweries make it part of the tour.
Hang on one second. Go for it.
So this is a far-reaching question.
Okay. EQ? Yeah, that's our equilibrium. Yeah, that's the name of the brewery.
It's something about juice.
Yeah. So
That's very
one of the
pretty
things
color.
that we will say is, especially if you use Untapped, you'll see a lot of times they'll say like hashtag EQ juice on there. And that's this particular flavor profile we're looking to get. We call it like rainbow melon, is another way we describe it.
This one's very.
To get this consistently in this bright, like rainbow tropical punch that underlies a lot of our beers.
So to that question, I just want to say,
It definitely tastes like mango.
it's a sour
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
in reference to bringing that into beer.
For a sour beer, I think you might like this one.
Guys, what's the
Yeah, that's really good.
But what's the pivotal point for that? What if bringing like this EQ or like this juice or this
Mike has more.
taste palette to beer in this like
We don't want to bring it to the industry, we want to keep it for us.
yeah,
The idea is that no one else has it. That's the whole point.
so like what's the longevity of that like
It is
in
juice.
terms of like beer palates for like pilsners or
It's something that you probably won't find as a pilsner. It's really not a flavor profile
get
we're looking at for a pilsner or
I really
a
get, like,
beer
grapefruit
like
and
that.
mango.
Something that's a little specialized for our IPAs and things where you're going to want these big tropical bursts, along with like dankness or brassiness or something that's going to balance that out. So that's one of those things that we're really looking for. So in like this, in like what you're about to have now, which is Middletown Punch, you're not going to really find that. You're going to find a different profile. I'll tell you the fruits in a second. I
No, I was just saying my mom really likes this
Oh,
one.
excellent.
Which is saying a lot because she's not big on sours.
Yeah, it's pineapple pie with cherries. I have it right now.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, so next up is our sour IPA. This is Middletown Punch. As I said, we are from Middletown, New York. Yeah. So you'll notice a lot of them straight out of Middletown. A couple different things. We're really proud of Middletown. So we're looking at a sour IPA. We use 5 fruits in this one: pineapple, guava, mango, and passion fruit, and cherry. So it really is this
There was
idea
no
of this
grapefruit
fruit
in
punch
it.
flavor that we're
Right
building
about the
into a soured IPA.
I will say
Yeah.
that you use the juice to make more of the sour than anything else.
Yeah. Sure.
It doesn't necessarily give you like a super sour IPA, but like I feel like it might be more juice.
Yeah. There's a lot of fruit in this one. There's a lot of fruit in this one. It's not meant to be like a puckering sour.
It's like a nice tart. Like if you have like a fruit tart pastry, it's very tart.
Yeah, I think that's probably
It's a
probably
very
really good way to describe it.
it's very balanced.
Yeah, it's balanced by science. You know, this is one of the ideas is to make a very balanced beer. We do some farmhouses that have a little bit more of a sour punch to them. This is not one of them. This is meant to be an approachable, drinkable beer, 7% ABV. Definitely a great summer beer as well. You know, it's a little bit cooler.
Presence of hops is why it would be sour.
Yes, it is hot. Yeah, it is hot. Yeah. I don't know what the hop was. Yeah. We typically don't write down our hop selections unless I pull it from the production team. Yes.
You were saying at the beginning, the one guy who started the brewery, he was getting a degree in water science, right?
He has a degree.
He has a degree, so he did get the degree. And he's got a PhD in water science. Oh yeah, so he definitely knows what he's doing.
He does. He's very, very smart. He's interesting to talk to when he goes on a roll, or when he walks into the sales room and starts doing math on the whiteboard.
He sounds really cool. I want to meet him.
Yes. Yeah. Every day. Every day. He's there every day. Yeah. Everybody who's on that side, even though the founders of the company are involved every day in production, especially Pete. He is still very much involved in it. He's not a head brewer by name. He's a head brewer by the fact that he still brews the beer. Yes. Good.
Question. So are you guys using for this sour? Are you using actual fruit?
Yes. For would you are you talking about are we using like real fruit or extracts?
Yes.
Yeah, we're using I believe we typically stick with aseptic fruit purees for a lot of these.
So it tastes natural, not
It is definitely natural fruit.
Is this traditionally sour beer, or is this one of those newfangled sour like producing yeast that aren't dirty?
Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, that's a production side question. Yeah, and like if you have serious questions about that, if you're really interested, if you're a home brewer or something like that, totally understand. Tell Mike. He can pass all that information on to me, and I can get you all the answers.
Actually, we're coming to your brewery on March 11th.
Excellent.
We're taking a bus tour.
Oh, cool.
So I'll come up there.
What day is that?
Saturday.
Saturday? Okay.
Yeah, it's the Staten Island. They're the poor standards people.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, I just joined their group.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll make a note.
Yeah,
We'll see if I can. I'll see if I can be up there. You guys.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out in February.
How the sour's made.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I don't know. Saturday's going to be hit and miss depending on who's there. But we'll see if we can make something happen.
And you're our first stop, too.
Awesome. Good. That's good.
Get us on the bus. We are drinking on the bus, so we'll
Okay. Well, we'll be careful when you arrive there. Then we'll have the 10.5% triple lined up for you.
You don't want to go more?
like, you're the next brewery.
Yeah. Send it back to us.
Oh yeah, I'll take more of that. That's great. I love this one.
Bring Olivia. Say, bring her.
I think she wants
Any retailers in Staten Island that carry Middletown Punch?
Middletown Punch? No. Pretty much just Hop Shop right now.
Hop Shop. Yeah.
I mean, when I was working at Beverage Island, I saw a lot of your beers.
Was it packaged?
Yeah. Packaging.
Beverage Island has it.
Say it again.
Beverage Island carries some, not all your products.
Okay.
We got it done.
We can.
He'll take care of it.
I got a good connection with the guys that bring it in. So yeah, we can talk to them. They're. Ask that question that direction.
We're gonna be down next week.
Yeah.
Well, you're not drinking the stout. You're not drinking. Oh, sorry.
All right, guys. Moving on to our last beer. Personal preference. Sorry, I'm popping into this mic. Yeah, personal preference. This is actually my favorite beer out of the ones that we've served tonight. Yeah, I like porters a lot. I like unadjuncted porters. I like adjuncted ones too, but I really like just a porter. Wonderful malt bill on this. It really highlights a lot of those wonderful, rich flavors that come from a really malty beer without any of the bitterness, I find, other than what you find pleasant. This is also a wonderful, a really easy beer to pair with desserts. I recommend, just because I just did this, flourless chocolate cake. If you do something with a little bit of spice in it, like a Mexican spice, flourless chocolate cake, absolutely delicious. This porter will actually kind of neutralize some of the spice. It's a brilliant beer. I love it. It's a newer one for us. I'm really happy we're doing it.
You guys got it?
Yeah.
This one is
Now, does this use roasted grains?
Good.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Let's see. It smells like soy sauce. Okay.
It's good.
I'm not mad.
Doesn't really come off as like coffee.
It tastes like coffee. Like really watery coffee.
Like your jacket.
No, I could smell it. Yeah.
Not like jacket.
I would just say take a sip.
Yeah, it's not harsh.
Have you had it
It's
before?
not that bitter.
Yeah. Okay.
It's definitely the smell that's throwing you off.
Is it smoked at all?
In terms of the
I
malt bill,
agree,
you'd have
but it's one of the better darker beers I've
there's
had.
no smoke.
But there's a little smokiness to it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really like coffee. Because I feel like you don't drink coffee. Yeah.
It's like, but I mean, like a lot of the darker beers, when they get like that dark, a lot of times it's just roasted grains, and it's the grains that are roasted, but it kind of has like, it kind of gives a taste of coffee, even though there's no coffee in there. But it's been a hot thing now in like the craft beer thing, where if you're making a stout or a porter or a dark ale, to put coffee in it, like coffee grinds or coffee, some type of element of coffee into it, and I'm like.
So yes.
And I'm like, I mean, like, I like coffee, but it's like, I just feel, it's not.
Imagine
this being nice.
I agree.
But I mean, like, one thing I don't like is Starbucks. They have like that cold brew nitro thing. I had one.
I can tell you it tastes great.
I had one of those like cold brew nitro things, and it's like it tastes like the beer without the properties of being a beer.
Drinking those things. One time I drank a huge one. I don't want to dumb it down the drain. I drank a whole huge like nitro cold brew, and I got one for my friend. We went for a hike. Yeah, the rest of it.
Oh wow, thank you.
We're just we're looking at normal pace, but I call it like. And we were talking for like 90 miles a minute, and then we were like halfway through our hike, and I was like, Shannon, do you feel weird? And she was like, yeah, I do. I've been sweating this whole time. It's like full.
I mean, like the worst, the crazy experience I ever had with coffee was like I started working for the Metropolitan Opera, and it was the first job I ever had that had complimentary coffee. So I went haywire. So like I had one cup when I got there, and then I had another cup, and then somebody in the office had a birthday, and there was this ice cream cake. Yeah, there was ice cream cake, and I was like, oh, I'll just have a cup of coffee with it because it was a chocolate ice cream cake. And I was like, you know what? I don't have any sugar, so I'll just mix in the chocolate ice cream cake to make it sweeter. At one point, I had a caffeine attack. I'm like, I'll tell my supervisor, like, I have to take a walk now. I drank too much coffee, and it's affecting me. And she's like, are you okay? It's like, I should be. I will let you know. Shit, like on the first.
You really have to like talk to yourself. Like you are okay. Just drink some water.
Yeah, you really have. Yeah, I mean, like the only time I ever had a high that bad was that, but it was like at least like compared to like caffeine really makes you paranoid. It's not a weed high, because weed high you can talk yourself out of it. Caffeine is like it's like.
We used to do this thing when I worked at Starbucks called we used to do shot competition. So we used to see how many espresso shots we could take shot for shot. So we would shoot them as we were pouring them, and then the switcher comes over and we see how far we can get. So I did it with my friend Joe one time, and we're doing them, and then maybe 25 minutes later, like, I was okay, because I had just gotten to like coffee, and we had been there since like 6 in the morning, and it was like maybe 11, and so we had already had like 4 cups of coffee at that point, because we would just make our coffee and just drink it while we're working. And then he's at the register taking people's orders, and this was the time where they used to write the cups at Starbucks with the Sharpie markers.
Kidding.
Right? You had the Sharpie markers. And we like the supervisor had to step in and be like, Joe, you need to go drink some water, you need to calm down. And you drink, no, you drink 16 espresso shots. Because we were doing shot contests. We were doing espresso shots. Yeah.
I mean, like, the people at Starbucks aren't a big fan of. I feel like at times when I go to Starbucks and I get something, they're not pleased with me because all I get is an espresso, a double espresso, and I call it that.
I would be pleased with you if I still work there. A double espresso, I would be right out.
No, because it's like, I don't know, because it's like a double espresso is not that much money because I feel at times they're like, oh, you're not spending much. But it's like, I mean, the one time I went to a Starbucks, I said, I'll have a double espresso. Guy gave it to me for free.
No.
All right, guys.
I love a double.
We have one more. We have one more for you tonight. This is a pretty special one. This is cookies and cream pop. This is our barrel aged. Extra thanks has to go to Mike for not just putting this on, but for driving up to EQ. Bringing it down and sharing with you guys. So this is a pure gift, and there's not a lot of these. I think I bought the last one actually the other day. But this is killer. It's one of our highest rated stouts and on tap. Not that that's the be all end all of things. It has this weakness as well, but it is on there. It is a barrel aged stout. We typically barrel age in Weller's bourbon barrels. That's where the barrel aging comes from. This one is an Imperial Stout, comes in at just about 11% with crushed cookies, cake mix, cacao, nibs, Madagascar vanilla bean, and lactose. That is actual Madagascar vanilla bean, not a powder or anything like that. Yeah, not a gimmick. It's the real deal. There's a reason why it's so expensive.
What, $30 a bottle?
Yeah.
I called it.
So again,
but he can sell it to you. He'll sell it.
Please thank Mike for this. It's really great to be helping me. Yeah. It is hand dipped in wax.
Yeah.
I know.
Wax. And there's two guys at the company that are really the experts in that, and it is a competition to see who can get the wax to go further down. Yeah, that's probably a Kyle one. Kyle's really good at that. That's OG.
How long do you guys age that for? Ages?
Yeah, it's barrel aged.
How long?
It varies.
Oh, okay.
It varies on the different ones. Yeah.
I thought that really long drip was a wick. It was a wick that you would use to open it with.
With the barrel age, typically, how long could you store that in your fridge for a rainy day?
Just sealed?
Sealed like that? For a while.
Yeah, can't you put in the dark?
Yeah, I mean, you can really store it for.
You can leave it very makers mark.
Is it one of those things where you want to enjoy and change the flavor? Or
They won't mellow out a little bit. Typically, as long as you keep them around 50 degrees and under, it's totally fine.
I have to say, the coolest cold brew I ever had. I think they got bought out by another company where they became a different business. But there was this coffee place on Forest Avenue called Milk and something or other. And there's beans and leaves, but it was right next to the burrito bar.
Yeah, like I have one that I traded a bunch for. That's worth quite a bit of money.
I think that's what it's
for. A little bit over 2 years.
It's changed hands. It's changed hands.
It's a new guy.
But it was called Milk and something or other when I went to it, and it was really cool.
Across the street from
Exactly.
It was, because burrito bar, there's that little one-way street, and then it was right there. And
so the barley wines and stuff, the only ones you can really play with like that.
Yeah.
Sours you can too.
Sours too.
Sours can get a little tricky. They will go back.
There was burrito bar. It was burrito bar, and it was right across the street. And it was really cool because all the tables were hand painted. And one of
right? It was on Forest Avenue?
No, the mustard seat's on the other side. It was, I don't remember what it was called, but the one table, it was really tiny, and the one table was made to look like Undertale.
Got a barrier.
That's a Fabco. I used to work there. Yeah. I used to work there. That lady was not nice. She was nice, but anyway, she sold it. She sold some I think it's called Northside now.
Oh, I didn't know that, but when I was there, they had this really cool.
But it was like this umami bomb. It was like this
like this Japanese, like,
But they had this,
like, a little
they
bit
had
of
this
sweetness and
this
like a little
traditional
bitter because the
cold brew
Asian
coffee
made
thing
really
where it
tasty.
started at the top and then it snaked its way down. Yeah, it snaked its way down through all these really pretty, glass tubes.
That shit's really hard.
I'd have a bunch of vinegar.
Really annoying.
That was the coolest thing I ever seen, and I had the coffee and it was really good, but it was like, the lady said like it takes like a day, and I think the lady said like it takes a day and a half to make.
Yeah. So you have it this big, like, we pick out like big giant jugs. That we keep
So if you Asian, it's tough. It's like,
oh, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is she? That's the last one. Oh my god. It smells like cookie dough.
No, it's not the one.
That's the one from the airport? This is the one that the
Man, this is a beer that sneaks up on you.
I mean, it's 11%, so
like Jägermeister.
it's not going to sneak that. It's going to be pretty loud. It's
If it
sneaky.
was it smells like
It's really sweet.
It's a pastry stout.
Coming around.
We do another one.
It tastes like it tastes like a digestif.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's a really good observation. Yeah, you're right about that. I think that's accurate.
It's very good. I really like it.
What's that?
There's a restaurant out in Chicago.
Okay.
The name of the place eludes me. But the brewer there, instead of doing this wine tastes like, doing the yellow chocolate cherry, pear.
Oh yeah, that joint.
I don't sell this.
He pairs it with beers.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's become a more popular thing now.
So
We have a restaurant that's very close to the brewery that we have a pretty active relationship. They've been a supporter for a very long time. They do a lot of beer dinners.
I know her little town is very kind of close to 17 up there, or
Yeah, we're not miles away from that. If you know where the police
The
station
Moody
is,
Tongue. I think it's the Moody Tongue.
there's
Exactly
we're really close to the police station in Middletown, actually.
What?
The police station. Yeah, if you know where that is, then we're right
So
there.
it's like, no, you go the other way so they don't see you when you're on.
That's the thing. You got we know all the back roads to get out of Middletown.
Yo, yes.
That's exactly the fucking thing.
There's exactly. And we do another one called Breakfast Time is Relative. It's made with maple syrup. It's amazing on ice cream.
You know what those are, your whites.
Vanilla ice cream. You pour a little bit on there. It's
This would
awesome.
be really nice on like something cold.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I see that for sure. Where's mine tasting?
So, one of the things that you can do with these stouts, I wouldn't do with a barrel-aged one, but we do some that are non-barrel-aged. I highly recommend, Breakfast Time is Relative is a great one for this, is to pour a little bit on vanilla ice cream. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I don't know if you're anathema to some of you guys, but it's pretty delicious. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah. It's good, man. I wouldn't do it with this one. Oh yeah. Delicious. That's good.
That is so good.
Really good.
It was, right?
It is. It's good.
Great.
So that kind of wraps up the tour. Hope everybody enjoyed. Again, thank you guys. I do apologize for some of the very, very technical questions. As I said, I'm not a brewer, but if you do have really technical stuff that you want to know and you're just dying to know, just get in contact with. If it's okay if they just pass a question along to you, then you'll send them up to me and I'll be able to get those answers for you, especially for some of the homebrew guys. It's not a big ask, and we can definitely do that.
Awesome. Good. Appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you.
James, thank you so much. And, I'm also really happy to see some of the specialty union guys here. Came to Staten Island. Ben, Dave, Julian. Probably not coming to Staten Island for much else. So that Thank you. Hop Shop. Thank you all for coming down to Beer Club, and you know your homework now is every month, is to go out to your local bars, restaurants, and ask for Equilibrium. Why don't you have Equilibrium? The beer is so fucking good. I need it.
It's upstairs in the bathroom in the blue bag.
So that's how we grow local.
Well, right now I would say
beer
temporarily
and,
we are fostering a
especially
beautiful
on
little
Staten Island.
cat.
We really need some
We have
help here on
nicknamed
Staten Island. So
Esmeralda.
we definitely need you guys to go out and give your local place a hard time. Why don't you have it? Why don't you have it? Why don't you have it? They can get it. It's easy. It's Union. Everybody uses Union beer for everything else. Use it for Equilibrium. And also, as you've heard a little bit here, Four Standards does have a bus trip. You don't need to be a Four Standards member to partake in this bus trip. How many breweries?
I'm going to 4.
4 breweries.
The sad part is
and drinking on the bus. That's a day. That's a big day.
Somebody left her in a box.
Drinking homebrew on the bus. And then going to 4 breweries. What are the other breweries?
We're going to Clemson Brothers, Orange County, Brewery Distillery, and then we're going to Hennick's Farm Cider.
Nice. The distilleries where the wheels fall off. March 11th, it's a Saturday. I think it's $50 if you're not a member. So it's a great deal. I mean, to get a bus ride there and back for $50, come on. It's a no-brainer. If you want to do that, you just go to the Four Standards website.
We'll get it on the website.
We're going to get it on the website. And you just go there, you sign up for it, get on a bus, drink, get off, drink, get home, go to sleep. Four Standards. Again, thank you very much for coming out. I'm not sure who's next month. We're still working on it. But I will update the Facebook page and Instagram so you can see what we're going to have next month. The new faces, thank you for coming out. Cheers, drink some good fucking beer. Yeah, all right.